Good evening, everybody.
Hello. Those who had been cast down, the demons who would be gods, began to whisper to men from their tombs within the earth, and the men of Tevinter heard, and raised altars to the pretender gods once more, and in return were given, in hushed whispers, the secrets of darkest magic. But it was not worship the false gods craved. They urged the magisters to ever greater depravity, rewarding them with power and more. Arrogance became a great caged beast in the lands of Tevinter, an emptiness that consumed all and could never be filled. To satisfy its hunger, the mage lords, at the goading of their gods, assaulted the golden city, heart of all creation, to take the Maker's power for themselves. With magic born of mingled blood and lyrium, the Tevinter broke into the Magister's house. But the promised power did not await them there. The moment they entered the city of the Maker, their sin poisoned it. What had been golden turned black, and violently they were flung from the world of dreams back into the waking world. Twisted and corrupted by their crime and their magic into monsters, they fled underground, unable to bear the light of day. The first Darkspawn. Eternities, Chapter 8, verses 21 through 27, The Canticle of Transfigurations. Hello, and welcome to the 20th session of Victory, Vigilance, and Sacrifice. We are rapidly approaching our finale. Hooray! We've also been off. Excuse me. We've also been off for a while, but for good reason. I got married. Hooray! Uh, so, we're just gonna jump back into the saddle. Even though we're down to Steve, but hopefully he should be showing up soon. Anyway, this tabletop role-playing game uses the Dragon Age video game setting developed by BioWare and the officially licensed tabletop role-playing game published by Green Ronin. Thanks also to Incompetech, aka Kevin MacLeod, for creating the wonderful music you will hear tonight. Incompetech can be found through the Roll20 app, which we will also be using. As a content note, the Dragon Age setting is not a nice place. Content warnings persist across this chronicle for war violence, sickness, undead, and terrible choices made in terrible circumstances. We employ the X card for player safety. And so, tonight, join us in telling a story of the Fourth Blight. Wardens, tell us a little bit about who you are and what your warden is all about.
I'm first today. Hi, I'm Devin. You can find me online at Sorta Sullied, and tonight I am playing Garrick. He is sad. But don't worry, he's gonna die soon. He hopes.
Hi everyone, I am Brody. You can find me at the Raba1 on the X app. Um, I will be playing it
I
tonight.
will call it Twitter when Elon stops dead naming his trans daughter.
Yes, because not calling things what they want to be called is absolutely in line with this issue. Uh, I will be playing Harold Wynn, the maroon Jenny, trying to walk the line between a good Grey Warden and a good Chaos Stirrer.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ben Ravensdale. You can find me on several social media platforms under some combination of Ravensdale and publishing. It might be Ravensdale.publishing, Ravensdale underscore publishing. It just kind of depends. But Google that and you'll find me. I'm playing Raylaf. I am an apostate mage and elf that joined the Wardens to get away from the Templars. So far, it's been going great. I haven't had to deal with Templars in at least 20 minutes.
All right. And we have our Tranquil Mage who will be around doing tranquil stuff, creeping people out in the background.
eviscerating several wyverns barehanded by himself. If
Yes.
previous history is anything to go by, anyways.
Emotion is a crutch, regardless.
Anyway, as for me, I am your game runner. My name is Rachel. I am she, her. You can find me at Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere, including the Burning Bird app. You can also find me on Instagram. You can find previous shows on the YouTube. I'm also on Blue Sky. Come join us on Blue Sky. It's kind of nice over there. Anyway, like I said, you can find us on YouTube, where we would love your likes and subscribes on our trek to 500 subscribers. We'd also appreciate your subscription to this channel, but unlike Twitch, subscribing on YouTube is free. So, that out of the way, it is recap time. I believe Brody is the designated reader of the recaps.
So last time we were together, the Grey Wardens had attended a lovely soiree, after which, or during, Harold leaves it in order to find a moment to talk to Liana, his dear friend who may or may not be a leader in the Red Jennies. He finds that she lives in one of the nicer homes in the Valroyo alienage. Walking up to her, he sees that there are others hanging about with bows and arrows, like one would expect. Knocking at the door, he's allowed in and is greeted by his dear old friend. Harold pulls out a bottle of cheap booze that he and Liana were accustomed to sharing in nights past. So, what do I owe this return from the dead, she asks. Cheekily, Harold shows off his new Grey Warden's insignia and begins giving her a list of ships he kept in his memory from Antiva, the ones that left without people, only stuff. In exchange for this information, Harold's asked for a little tit for tat, and seeking her help to find any hoarded goods, how much there are, so that the Grey Wardens can actually get an honest assessment of what resources are available in Valroyo. Yana says other than the warehouses all the nobility use, with the Emperor's goods, the rest would be kept in their own homes. Harold speaks with her about possibly grabbing some of the goods being hoarded, and if they need protection, heading south to the Grey Warden encampment. He also asks for a shadow to communicate more easily between them, and asks for another bottle of itching powder as he goes, and disappears in a blink of an eye. Elsewhere, Raelith goes off to find the exiled queen in her chantry, located about a half-mile outside the city. It is essentially, within the context of a chantry, a nunnery. Even with the very well-kept garden, Raelith can tell the effects of the blight are becoming more prominent. It is a lovely, peaceful place, and Sister Delphine, a member of the order, stays in the garden where bright orange fish and a lovely pond can be found. Wearing a well-made dress and feeding the goldfish, Raelith greets her with a courteous bow, trying not to show off what he is doing. Empress Delphine, I had not been given the privilege of greeting you yesterday. Raelith takes note of the people around that are actively keeping an eye on the queen, while respecting her privacy. They talk about the state of affairs for the queen, her future, and whether or not she wishes to return to the palace. Raelith quietly broaches the prospect of using blood magic to ensure a child, but the queen in exile gives several good points to wave him off, that it wouldn't happen quickly enough, and that he already has a possible male heir from one of his mistresses. She wishes to be in her old position again, but it seems very unlikely for many reasons. If she did, she would want the Emperor's mistresses sent away. Seeing that she wants to keep her position, but not kill the Emperor's mistresses, Raelith asks why the queen wouldn't try to eliminate the competition, and he sees the painful truth. She wants to go back to him, and she wants his foolishness to end when he has a male child. She would like to be the only empress and doesn't care if he fools around for a male heir. They can adopt the child and raise it as theirs, but she wishes to remain his only true wife, and she still loves him. Elsewhere, Garrick makes his way to the center of Orlais, where the chantry is, which might as well be considered a cathedral. The Reverend Mother Felicienne greets him with nice robes, but lacks the ornamentation of gems and other expensive items one might expect for the leader of a major chantry. Later, the entire group gathers at a tavern of Harold's choosing, away from prying eyes, and Raelith noses Emmet, one of the bards that had been shadowing them, watching the group intently. With Harold's lead, we start discussing what we learned in a veiled code before... ...
All right. Thank you for reading that recap, Brody, and thank you to the disappeared Devon for taking notes. So just because it has been a while, a brief refresh, the current Emperor of Orlais is Emperor Olivier Gobert Sebastien de Valle. He's middle-aged, around 48 years old. And his legal wife, the Queen, Queen in exile, is Delphine Marie-Helene Archambault. They have not had any children, and so Emperor Olivier has essentially set his wife aside and taken two mistresses, Florentina and Karine. So Florentina is from the Lambert family. They are essentially a wine-producing family. They brag that their wines can be found on every fine table across Thedas. Karine is from the Blanchard family, which has long ties to the Chantry. And then we also have the Dumas family, Fernand, who is brother to the Queen. He is angry about her situation. He is willing to force his sister to be restored by arms if necessary, but with the blight on, that is a little awkward. So, other non-nobles of your acquaintance is Tylus van Marken. He is a Navarran noble who made a name for himself fighting in the recently wrapped-up Orlesian Exalted Marches. He claims to be rightful heir to the throne of Navarre. He has volunteered to join you in fighting the Blight, possibly as a way to get military experience to, once the Blight concludes, press his claim. Leanna is the leader of the Red Jennies and Valborio. She is an elf-blooded human raised by her elven mother in the alienage. Let's see, there is Evandriel, who is the first among the mage circle, but I don't think you've spoken to him yet. Mother Felicienne, she is of the Blanchard family. The local voice of the divine, who is currently Hortensia II. Let's see, and Etienne Halrund, half Ferelden and half Orlesian. He is the knight captain of the local Templars. And Derek is a dwarf masquerading as a noble from Orzammar. However, all of you, having extensive dealing with the dwarves, immediately recognized that his face tattoos have marked him as an outcast and a criminal. But you have come to an understanding with him, essentially. Where, you know, he doesn't get in your way and you don't get in his, and maybe you can help each other. The situation is that you really want the Emperor to give you the armies that you need to fight the Blight. However, the Emperor is reluctant to send more than a token force. Essentially, he is worried that if he sends away too much of his army, then the next thing that will happen is Tevinter will roll in from the north and reconquer Orlais, and he does not want that to happen. Alternatively, the other thing that would happen is the nobles would keep their armies and then start fighting each other. Also bad. So that is the political situation that you find yourself in. Um, do any of you have any questions?
And do you happen to have like a summarized like bullet list of the names and their quick descriptions that you can make available to us? Because in previous sessions I've tried to write down like people's names and I have never gotten all of them. So
Uh, yes. Give me a little bit, because
no problem.
spoilers are in the list that I've written for myself.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I mean, we don't. Yeah, you can send that too. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
What?
Um,
I'm not gonna cheat out of game.
anyway, so there is a tournament coming up that you have been invited to, which you could crash in even if you weren't invited, because you're wardens and you get to do stuff like that.
Yay!
In which you
You-
could do your political bullshit, convince people, etc., etc.
We had-
Any other questions?
Not from me at the moment.
No, I think you need to collate some data here and see what we want to do to make things
Yeah.
want them to go.
Yeah, because we had talked at length last time about possible courses of action related to. Hold on. I know her name. Florentina and her family. I forget exactly what we had said. Something about like. Frick, I forget. We made some really, really good points. Like, I think we had a really good, solid. We had a good, solid plan for going forward, and I do not remember what it was.
Well, let's just make it up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so uh forgetting where we left off all those many weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
I will just say it is morning. You're at the breakfast table in the apartments that have been assigned to you. Uh, and so the scene is yours to discuss what happens next.
So let's think big picture first. What's our ideal outcome here?
Ideal outcome is
A large army and happy nobles.
ideal outcome is we get troops and materials that we need to deal with the blight. The nobles don't feel as if their precious social status has been threatened. The people are still getting fed and properly looked after by the people who are supposed to be doing that job. And ideally, none of the noble women who have been caught up in this whole, like, oh, I'm an emperor and I want to have a legacy bullcrap, are murdered unceremoniously for no reason.
I will state for the record, only 2 of those 4 goals do I care anything about, but I'm not going to fight you on the other 2 because I am a Grey Warden.
Okay. I don't particularly care about the noble thing either, just for the record, except for the fact that if their social situation is threatened, most likely the goal of the people being taken care of and fed isn't probably going to be met. So,
And also, the army isn't going to be sent.
I mean, we could get the army and then just leave the nobles to whatever fate befalls them, but that's probably not the best way to go about it.
Yeah, considering that would probably end up just falling onto the peasantry.
Exactly.
Yeah, they just kill a bunch of people in their hunt for enough to feel satisfied.
Yeah. So, all right.
Even I will recognize when chaos is not actually the ideal situation.
Chaos
Right.
is only good when it's used when it's like directed for useful means.
Chaos is a chariot.
Yeah.
Useful when it's harnessed for good ends. Okay.
All right. So let's see here.
We can also get a much more accurate tally of resources that they can actually spare. My concern is if we don't get them to move now, they're not going to be ready for when the blight gets to the walls.
Yeah.
Even if we didn't care about everyone between there and here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, what's his name? Claims the throne of Navarre? Like, I think didn't he say he would lead an army?
Mm-hmm. I believe he sent us 600.
So now, one thing we could do is if the Emperor does not want him to declare that he single-handedly saved Navarre from the Blight and thus his claim to the throne there is legitimate, he might want to send his own armies to make sure that it is not an obvious win from a Navarran leader.
Well,
But
the Emperor threw in 1,000.
right. So 1,600 is nice, but it's not going to stop a Blight. Do we think settling the issue of his heir might help shake loose more?
I do, because if we can get the queen reinstated, her brother is more likely to direct the military might that he is basically rattling in the emperor's direction, is more likely to direct that towards the blight, and so we would be able to secure some support from him.
I know this is a crazy thought, but maybe we just go tell the emperor what you learned from his wife.
I'm actually not entirely opposed to that idea. I mean, I kind of wanted that. I think I did say the last session that I wanted to try to get the emperor alone again, so I could kind of confront him. Not confront him. Have a conversation with him.
We're not at confrontation yet.
Yeah, have a confrontational conversation with him. How's that? We'll split the difference.
A direct,
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, a direct conversation.
a frank exchange.
I don't have any francs though.
It's okay. We'll round some up.
I'm sure there's a Grey Warden frank somewhere.
I'm sure there is.
I can conscript some anyway.
There you go. Hugh, what's your name?
Honestly, it also might be a move to just, for the same reason I got picked up, we might actually want to go shopping for some candidates for the joining. Some more Grey Wardens to help bolster an army would not go amiss.
I'm sure they'll.
Actually, do you want to do something real crazy?
Hmm.
Actually open it up to any of these leaders who are willing to put their money where their mouth is? If a noble volunteered to join the Grey Wardens and lead a force, it might actually get more people to sign on.
So you could try, but so the Grey Wardens essentially function like the Night's Watch in Game of Thrones, where when you become a Grey Warden, you essentially have to give up anything that you stand to inherit and anything that you stand to own, or you donate it to the Grey Wardens. But either way, it would be a struggle to convince actual heads of houses and their heirs to join the Grey Wardens. That being said, you could target the lesser children, the ones who don't stand to inherit, and just say, hey, this is your chance for glory to make your mark on history, etc., etc.
Oh yeah, I think that is absolute. I look, obviously people who have spent their entire lives thinking about their own power are not going to sign away at all for a noble gesture. But they do have kids.
Yes. And so you can absolutely conscript these people.
And
you could also conscript the nobles as well. Like, you're legally allowed to do that. There will be consequences.
Right.
Mhm.
But I'm not wrong in thinking that if some of the people from known houses were to step forward, it might make it easier to get more volunteers or to loosen up some resources. Like parents might be more willing to part with some of their guard if it meant keeping their child alive.
I mean, if you can convince the nobility of Orlais that it is suddenly fashionable to join the Grey Wardens, yes, you will get a lot of recruits.
Gee, if only one of us happened to be good at communicating.
Garrick looks around confused.
I think I have my project.
So,
Here's the trick, though. You have to be good at communicating, but also good at not alienating the nobility that we're trying to convince to back us.
What
you
do you
also need to
what
be
do you
good at
mean by
communicating at
getting,
scale.
I am
Too.
exactly capable of speaking at the level of the nobility.
The accent doesn't make the difference.
Oh no, but my manner, my deference, my willingness to submit to the whims and fancies of the nobility, for they have the right to rule. I can suck up just fine. As I kind of pick up, just toss a little container of itching powder.
That is not how you convince them that joining the Grey Wardens is fashionable.
No, but how do you think I got close to them in the first place? I'm just saying it is a tack, and might be able to leverage some of the parties that are going on right now, the ways that these nobles like to spend their time.
Warden Commander, since you probably would know this, at least I hope you know this since you hold the title, what are
I hope so
our
too.
what are our stores and supplies and whatnot look like? Like if we were to suddenly get an influx of people signing up, would we even be able to feed them and arm them and make use of them?
This is where I go. God,
Maker, maker.
Maker.
What's the question?
Do we, as the Grey Wardens, have enough food, armor, weapons, gear, all the stuff that is necessary to equip and, mobilize an army? Do we have enough of that stuff that if we got a sudden influx of recruits, we would be okay to utilize them? Or would we basically just be passing Orlais's, like, starvation situation onto ourselves?
So anything you don't have that you need, you can conscript. And conscripting raw materials, like, hey, we need your swords, hand them over. Um, there will be some grumbling, but it's not as politically fraught as, say, crashing into the tourney and telling everybody you're all Grey Wardens now.
Although that is an option because everybody there on the
That
field
is
can
an
fight.
option.
Hey, and not every Grey Warden needs to be a fighter. It's clearly you need logistics and maintenance and stewards and farmers and things like that to maintain things.
Yeah, but those people don't even
Enchanters.
necessarily need to be conscripted technically.
As fun as it is to hang that over people's heads, it is only good as a threat. Once we have to act on it, it is done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, we want to make joining the Grey Wardens fashionable, right?
Yes, we want to make being a Grey Warden cool.
What do people who enter a tournament want to do? Win that tournament, right?
And gain glory and renown and
So, what if we could somehow arrange it so that maybe not the winner, but one of or some of the winners of the tournament get to join the Grey. Basically, they get to join the Grey Wardens and go right off to glory and honor for the defense of what's the name of the planet? Like the realm? I know.
Thetis.
Thetis. Thank you.
It is short for the Dragon Age setting.
Oh, that's right. I forget that sometimes. God, I love that.
See, I think it might be more. I'd be more amused if we made it the second place prize.
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
yes, agreed.
First place is you win the tournament. Second place is you are guaranteed a position of prominence in the Grey Wardens.
Yes.
Oh man.
Because
Don't get second place.
then whoever wins second place, they don't want it to be, oh well, I got the consolation prize, which is really a fuck you. I got this opportunity to go and, and then that will potentially make it more
Yeah.
fashionable.
Something else to point out is not every person under arms needs to be a Grey Warden.
Correct.
We need, because look, that the claimant to the throne of Navarre, we can't make him a Grey Warden if we want him to be willing to do this. We can't, because that's going to take away his whole motivation for giving a shit. But if we can find somebody who's popular enough, or make them popular enough, that people would want to follow them, and have that person become a Grey Warden, who we would then say is in command of whatever Orlesian troops are accompanying us to fight the Blight.
What about this Tylus von Markham guy? He's pretty happy to sign up and do some fighting.
He's the one he's already put in 600.
Yeah, so...
Oh, is that the Navarre guy? Is that the same guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
so
sorry.
he has not...
Too many names.
I just posted it in the Discord.
Oh, thank you.
So he's essentially joining as an independent contractor, because he clearly has ambitions for when the Blight is over, and joining would disrupt those.
How popular is this guy?
Reasonably.
Does he have any commanders? Any people that serve underneath him? Because if he's got troops to promise us, he must have a chain of command. Does he have any people that are kind of under his banner that are even more popular or well liked?
More popular or well liked? No, he's not that dumb. But he does have competent leaders under his command.
Question, because I'm going to offer this is any of this intel something we'd be willing to share with those minstrels? Because if I can get them on team, promote some people to make them feel important enough to follow, that's gonna have an impact. But they're gonna want something in return, and if that's a direct line to the intel we've gathered on the court situation.
Yeah, so one of the things that I brought up when you were talking about how to make it fashionable was your ability to communicate at scale. So
Yeah.
you're very good. Heroine is very good when it's one-on-one. But try and getting a sea change of popular opinion. Yeah, minstrels are really good at that.
As a bard myself, I'm not terrible, but more is better, and they know the local, and they know all the venues.
Mm-hmm.
So,
are there any independent knights, like knight errants or anything like that are in this tournament?
Almost assuredly, yes.
We should probably find one of those that is a crowd, underdog favorite among the populace and whatnot.
And that's something to just using contacts and high communication. Is there anyone that has the attention of lesser nobility or the second sons, who they're looking to as kind of a champion of theirs?
Ideally, you want the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson of Orlais.
What the chefs are cooking.
Yeah, there's half a dozen of young, eager knights from each of the families.
Okay.
Even if they're not direct line of descent, they're the favorite cousin or whatnot.
Ooh, another interesting question. Who has territory to the east? basically, which noble families
Oh, would be first in line.
are the most likely to lose if the blight is not pushed back soon?
I feel like weren't the wasn't the Florentina family one of those?
That would actually be the Dumas family.
Oh, Dumas.
That is the family that the queen's brother's wife comes from.
That's what
Okay.
it is. Thank you.
And also the Lambert family, since they have such extensive vineyards.
Lambert.
If the crops fail, life sucks for them.
That's who I meant. I said Florentina.
Yeah.
I meant Lambert.
So we got a lot of threads here. I almost feel like we should make some moves on some of this and see where it shakes out. Because
That's right.
Yeah.
We had talked about talking to the Lambert family because of that, because we were going to basically be like, look, even if things go well for Orlais, they could go badly for your family. We can help kind of ensure that that won't happen. Like, we can put more resources into ensuring that doesn't happen if you agree to work with us on basically giving your kid up for the Emperor and the Empress to adopt, and sort of go back to being not the Emperor's mistress. I think is like one of the lines of negotiation we were considering. All right. Well, how do we want to divide this stuff up? Who wants to go do what? I feel like the warden commander should probably go talk to these like up and coming knights that want to like make a name for themselves, to see if he can convince them to be like, hey, it may not be the most luxurious, but if you want glory, we've got that in spades.
I should probably talk to the minstrels,
Okay.
if for no other reason than to know their price.
Always good information to have.
And you've already been doing some work on the ladies with the babies.
That is not the way you should phrase that at all. I would like you to retract that formally, please.
Declan's on the baby work. Got it.
That name isn't supposed to be a different name.
Rayla the baby maker?
Yep.
You'll have to be a little bit worried about what
Rayla,
to be remembered as because of me, aren't you?
Rayla the baby maker. Yep, that's perfect.
Negative. That is not a thing.
The baby maker of Orlais.
I'm just going to leave these guys to do their thing. I'm going to go get on my Griffin and I'm going to GTFO. I'll go find some other Grey Wardens to hang out with.
You know what? I'm just going to fly straight at the Archdemon because this is going to be a better fate than just saying.
I mean,
Let us tell you the tale of Raylath, who impregnated all of Orlais' nobility within a fortnight.
And then ran away.
And then fled.
And invented the term fort play.
yeah, I'm not running that story. Sorry,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you. No, that's good. I'm glad you're on my side here. All right, well, I guess I will go talk with... I don't want to go talk with Florentina. She seems like she's the worst. All right, I'll go talk to Florentina.
You want my itching powder? It really does help when dealing with nobles.
No, that's all right.
It's kind of like a security blanket for me.
As opposed to Jurgen's security blanket, quiet death.
You know, I could come with you. I have a feeling one or both of those minstrels are going to be running around. And they're probably going to follow us. And at least you can both look down on me if you need to find a common point of connection.
I'm not going to sit there and, like, throw a fellow Grey Warden under the bus to some
I mean, you have
gossip
my permission.
monger.
You have my permission.
Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. I appreciate that, though. I'll keep that in my back pocket in case it comes up.
But I think it might be I can come with you, and when you have an audience, either I'll break off and go find some of the chatty Cathys, or stay with you. We'll see how it works out. And if we pick up a tail like we did last night, I can always just hang back and find out and maybe catch up with you.
However you want to do it doesn't matter to me. I want to go speak with with Florentina, and if possible, I'd like to speak with Fernand and Susanette
So I
if
will
the
shadow
opportunity presents
you.
itself.
Raylath, I will shadow you. By shadow, I mean I'll just be with you. And if there's an opportunity for me to break off for productive use, I will.
Okay.
And Bossman gonna go talk to some of those up and comers.
Wardens, hoo ha ha.
I do have some advice though. Don't let them know you want to die. Keep your suicidal tendencies out, okay? Just some good coaching, some basic coaching on persuasion.
Okay, so they're not going to die.
No. Because if there's no risk of death, then there's no glory. Maybe put it as try for the angle of if they join, you'll give them respect for for what they're willing to do. Make them feel like you'll look up to them a little bit, even though you're going to be their commander.
Respect. Okay. I think I can make this work. They're not going to die, but it's not going to be easy.
And we will, and you will make sure that their sacrifices and commitments are known. Maybe talk up a little about how we remember our fallen brethren, or we remember our brethren no matter what.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
And maybe something along the lines of like, you remind me of so and so, that famous Grey Warden who is now still known and renowned after so many years from the last blight.
I've never heard of so and so.
You'll
All
think.
right. So, if I have this correct, Rayleth is gonna go talk to Florentina. And Harold Wynn is going to go talk to the minstrels. And Garrick is going to go talk to the knights.
Yes.
Correct. As
Ben looks confused. Is the bat back? Is the bat back?
I don't know. I heard something weird.
Oh no.
I don't know how they're getting in the house.
The Batcave?
No, it's definitely not that. We've sealed that off.
You know, because Batcaves never have random superheroes coming through.
I mean, they don't need to do it in secret. Just let me know that they're here, and I'm more than welcome to let them, use the space. All right. Yes, that sounded like a correct assessment of what I was planning before I got distracted by some weird noise.
something driving you batty.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's start with Batman. By which I mean Rayleth going to speak to. Is it just Florentina, or are you going to talk to more?
I'm going to start with Florentina. I'm going to move on to Fernand and his wife Susanette if the opportunity presents itself. They're not that they're
Okay.
married, but I've got something else I want to talk to them about.
Okay. All right. So, you find Florentina in the quarters that she has been given as one of the two royal mistresses. Oh, look at her cow face.
That was a happy cat.
Sorry, she was being really cute.
Yeah.
She's always really cute.
She was being cute in frame.
Huh?
All right. Anyway, sorry about that. So, Raylith. Florentina is located in a very nice wing of the palace. Ever since becoming royal mistress, she's been given her own set of rooms. You find her. uh, here, um, where she is essentially surrounded by about three other women, roughly her age. You would assume that these are uh cousins or similar distant relations, essentially ingratiating themselves with whomst they hope to be the future queen, and essentially doing the job of her ladies in waiting, keeping her company, helping her dress, helping her just essentially function as a human being. So uh, you're announced by one of these women. Uh, my ladies, one of the Grey Wardens wishes to talk to you. And so you're brought into what is essentially a sitting room. A lot of nice couches, divans to sit on. It looks like there's almost like a quilting bee going on. There's something going on with textiles, you're not sure.
Sweatshop.
A little nicer than a sweatshop.
Okay. I'll come in and I'll offer a bow as courtly as I can manage. And God. Lady, I do apologize for intruding on your rest and your business, but I was hoping I might have the opportunity to speak with you in private about matters both personal and Orlais specific.
Oui. And so she asks two of the women, uh, essentially, hey, go get some snacks and tea from the kitchen. She will have one woman stay behind with her. You would presume as a chaperone and who can attest, like, yeah, he
Nothing
was
happened.
fine. Nothing
Yeah,
weird happened.
absolutely. Do they? I'm assuming they have like some wine around its Orlais, so if they don't, I'll be shocked.
Especially with the woman from this family, yes, there is
Okay.
wine.
Um, I'm going to, rather than ask like the lady in waiting to pour me a glass or whatever, I'm going to go over and to pour myself a glass, and I'll ask both of them if they would like one before we get started.
Uh, Florentina declines, and then her companion says, lightly watered, please, if you don't mind.
I'll follow suit with my wine. Um, and then I'll go sit. I'm assuming she's sitting like at a table or something.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go join them. Your family's vineyards are east of Orlais, is that correct?
In the eastern portions, oui.
So closer to the source of the epicenter of the blight than most of the rest of the kingdom.
That is assuming that, well, as last I heard, as long as the blight continues east to winter and does not turn south.
About that, there is every likelihood that it does change course. These things are not predictable and they're not reliable. Um, it's not exactly something you can chart a course for like you do something as reliable as the sea, if you catch my meaning.
Have you heard intelligence as the word is, or where they will arrive next?
There is some of the information that we have received from scouts does indicate that they may be in the early stages of shifting direction, and if they were to, the most likely alternative would be to come this direction. It's a complete fabrication. I don't know. I don't think that's true in the slightest out of character, but
All right, well, go ahead and give me a communication roll to see if she buys it.
I should have just not said anything, but too honest. Where's my character sheet? I've played this game before, I swear. Communication. Okay. Aha! This is where my intrigue talent comes into play. I can re-roll a deception.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
So that's a +2 bonus to your roll.
Well, so this says that I can re-roll. The novice level deception says I can re-roll and use the second roll.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought you were meaning a specialization.
No.
Okay.
So, yay. Hey, that's actually not bad.
Well, we both have
Okay.
perception.
14 with 5 stunt points. Whatever I can do with those, and the social stunt points are the ones that always trip me up.
Yeah. So they are pinned in the Discord. There are many pins. I apologize.
That is quite all right. Major actions. Getting levels. Aha! Role playing. Yes, that's the one I think I want. 5. I do not think I want to do Enrage.
That might be a bad idea. I mean, you could flirt.
Yeah, flirt. I actually have a seduction specialization for some bizarre ass reason. So I think
so
I think I'm gonna go that route. Yeah.
all right. So one thing you could do, you could try to sway the crowd.
Interpersonal effects are so they spill over onto others in the area. Ah, okay. Actually, you know what? That might be. But then I've got 3 stunt points left over that I don't have anything to do with. No, I'm gonna lean into my strengths. I'm gonna go with flirt. Not like in a super like suggestive overt way, just in kind of like that witty banter like Orlesian way.
Okay, so more like the flattering way.
Yeah, not in anything that would be considered untoward, just in a
Okay.
yeah, I like him. He's charming.
Okay, cool. All right, so noted.
So we have to make a communication seduction versus willpower self-discipline test, is that?
Yes, please.
Okay. And then if I have the specialization, I get a +2, correct?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
All right, she rolled a 12.
15 with 4 stunt points. I would
Okay.
like to use sway the crowd on there to move for that to flow over to the lady in waiting.
Okay. Excellent. Sounds good. So you have successfully charmed one of the king's mistresses.
That couldn't possibly go badly in any capacity.
Hey, better you than me.
Accurate.
I mean,
You
If
do
she's-
not want Harold having the affections of a noble. It would not go well for anyone.
all right. And so you are essentially trying to convince her that her family's lands are in danger. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, her response is, but clearly the Grey Wardens are here to protect us, no?
That is exactly why we're here. Yes. To protect you and all of the subjects of Orlais as well, of course. However, that is easily said, far more difficultly done.
What do you mean?
Well, blights, darkspawn. These are vast crises. These aren't something you can simply forge together a band of stalwart and plucky heroes and go off to destroy. Spoiler alert, that's exactly what they do in the video games, but that's beside the point. In order to effectively defend against a threat such as this, it does require a great deal of resources and personnel. The trick with that is, for example, hypothetically speaking, would we march into Orlais and state that we need to start taking those things from the Emperor, from the noble families, from the people? That leaves those same people with fewer resources with which to defend themselves once the blight ends, and normal run-of-the-mill day-to-day concerns come knocking at the gates. As a result, we often find ourselves embroiled in games of politics, which are not my forte, if I'm being completely honest with you. One of the things that we have noticed, or one that we've taken note of, is the fact that because your family is at risk, the nice, I like that. The concern for your family is that their estates are buffers between the blight and the capital, but also that your odds are not guaranteed to succeed in this. In your current endeavor. I'm going to kind of gesture to her, her pregnant belly. There is the likelihood that you give birth to a daughter, which, while joyous in and of itself, I don't believe is quite the result that certain highly influential people are looking for. And if that were to happen, those same highly influential people would likely not feel so terribly inclined to use their influence to protect your family and its lands.
So, what is it that you are looking to me to procure for you?
I would like a commitment, vow, a promise from you, that, a public one, that you will present your child to the king and queen of Orlais for them to adopt formally as their child, as their heir, and throw your full support in behind the queen in so doing.
And why would I want to do that?
Well, because this is a more certain course of action to ensure both your safety and your family's safety and prosperity. If you leave it
I
up to the
did not
fates.
realize that Grey Wardens were getting so involved in politics nowadays.
As I said, we find ourselves having to join the dance, which is very much not something that I would prefer. But here we are nonetheless. As Grey Wardens, we do what we must to defend against the blight.
And but why does the fate of my child, why does it have such an impact on the blight?
Because there are elements within Orlais, and you'll find that I I'm going to be speaking plainly here because I'm not very good otherwise. There are elements in Orlais, in different echelons of society, that are unhappy with the way things are currently, both with the specific interpersonal dynamics between you and the queen and the king, and just in general, as there often are in any kingdom. There are some who were the queen to be reinstated to her position and a bond to be formed between your family and the king's through the adoption of your child. This would solidify a number of those factors and a number of those factions, and allow us to more easily garner the support that we need because people aren't looking at each other and reserving knives under the table, so to speak, for each other. Instead, they can freely give those knives to us so we can take them and march against the Blight.
But is the bond between the king's family and my family will be formed just as well if we are raising our child together and the queen stays in her chantry?
Only if you give birth to a son. If you give birth to a daughter and you are not named queen, then that will not be the case. B, those factions that are unhappy with the situation the queen is currently facing will continue to be unhappy in that situation. And therefore, rather than having formed a close allegiance and a familial bond, through, as well as possibly a friendship, you will have formed bitterness, discontent, and maybe some support for your family.
I suppose you have convinced me. And so, Rayla, give me a perception roll. Well, perception or communication, whichever one you have better. If you have a focus on anything like empathy, that would apply.
Detect darkspawn? Yeah, no, I don't got nothing like that.
Detect Darkspawn does a lot of work when the maker tells you to roll with it.
Yeah. Do I have anything here that can help me? No, I don't. Oh, I guess we're just gonna roll them bones and call it good. That's not bad. I'm not happy. I'm happy with that. Actually, I'm okay with this.
Okay. So that is exactly what she rolled. And I usually defer ties to go to the defender, which in this case is her.
Ties to go to the player. The player. Ties go to the player. No, I'm kidding. Actually,
well,
is there
okay.
anything I can do? We don't have any benevolence or anything. Like there's like an inspiration mechanic in this game, is there?
No, but all right.
Okay.
So
All right.
There
because
is,
you
but it's not. Doesn't work that way.
Oh, I see.
because you tied, I will give you this much. She is saying yes in the moment.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. I hate to butt in here, but I have the apprentice level spirit or the journeyman level spirit magic talent that allows me to sense the emotion of one creature within 6 yards.
Okay.
Does that make a difference? If I'm trying to determine her
Okay,
sincerity.
sure. All right. Okay, so amending what I would say. So you can tell that she is agreeing in the moment, but she's also a pretty savvy politician in her own right, and she knows that essentially with the blight, with everything else going on, things are going to change very, very rapidly. And so essentially she's saying yes right now, but sort of expecting that she will be able to wiggle out of it later.
All right, that's fair. I think I can kind of respect that to a certain extent. And I'm just going to reiterate and say this this vow, it only works to provide it, like it only achieves the goal if it's made publicly and with the queen and the king accepting this very gracious offer that you were providing. Is that something that you would be all right with me arranging within before the end of the day? These things obviously being very time sensitive. The blight not exactly waiting for news to spread and all that.
I would ask that you let me speak to the king first.
Of course.
Uh, is there anything else that I can do for you, Grey Warden?
Quite frankly, you have done more than enough by being willing to hear me out and consider my proposal, and you've allowed me to bask in the presence of two very lovely ladies for far too long. Thank you. Stand and toast, finish off his wine, and give them both a quick bow.
Have a good evening, sir. Or afternoon, because it's probably late morning.
I'll speak with you prior to the dinner hour again regarding this.
Oui.
I will not give her a chance to say anything else or change her mind. I am going to leave, having
All right.
achieved what I wanted, which is a surprise.
All right. Well, I mean, you think she's on board.
I've achieved more than I expected to. Let me say
Okay.
that.
A maybe in this situation is better than a no.
Yeah.
All right. So, we will switch to Harold Wynn.
How difficult is it to find at least one of those minstrels that's been stalking us?
Well, they've been stalking you, so not hard.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to go find a not terrible bar, but also not like a high-end bar.
Okay.
The kind of place that might be open to people for a breakfast beer, but a good breakfast beer, not like swill.
So you're finding a brunch place.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes. The weather
And I
is
will make sure
great.
and I will order 3 drinks and just wait.
Okay. So the weather is great in Valroyo. So you get a really nice patio table. You order 3 of the breakfast beers, which are, nice light blonde ales. And so
To gently make sure that there isn't anybody within easy listening distance around my table.
okay. So you're sitting at this table with 3 beers. I assume drinking one of them.
Slowly, but yes.
Okay. So you get about halfway through the glass when you hear a voice behind you. Are you waiting for anyone?
Does it sound like one of them?
Yes.
Without even looking up? Well, you, of course. Please take a seat. Is your friend nearby?
Brother, he is a little busy at the moment, but we speak for each other. And so she sits down. She's got she's fairly young. You'd put her early to mid-20s. Has brown hair, but she has like braided it into like not like noblewoman fancy, but still kind of like, she put effort into her hair this morning. And wearing brightly colored clothes with lots of pockets, just essentially what you would expect from someone who makes their living as an entertainer.
I will put down the half-drunk glass, take one of the full ones, pull it to me and pass the other one to her, and kind of lift it up.
So, what is it that I can do for you?
I could use your help, actually.
Well, this is a strange way to conscript me, if that is your plan.
No, look. Do you really think I want that much competition in the Grey Wardens? Garrett
Oh,
can't
but
carry a tune to save his life, and I don't think Raylith has sung around me yet. So, no, I don't want to conscript you unless you want to join. Like we are happy to take competent people. I also get the sense that you perform in the grand tradition of Valroyo minstrels and bards. Yes.
it is possible that my brother and I have received some bardic training.
Okay, so we're on the same page in that we know what we're actually we know more than just what we put forward. I need your help promoting a few people so that others will follow them to fight a blight.
All right, you have my attention.
The Grey Wardens need help making sure that Valroyo and the entire Elysian Empire take this threat seriously.
On this we agree.
You and your brother are in a unique position to help push a certain orientation toward that kind of service into the ears of second sons and the populations who know how to actually wield a weapon. There's a tournament coming up. My boss is about to have a chat with the less attached knights, people who have a name to make. And I want to know what the price is for you and your brother to help me tap into the popularity network and help make sure that the people see the right individuals as worthy of following into war.
All right. So this is what you want from me, to sing songs about Warden's glory.
Warden's glory, and then to make sure that the right people are attached to that, either to compel them to serve or to compel others to follow.
That is not a problem at all.
And what would you want for that kind of help?
uh, my brother and I, we have a fairly long-term way of looking at things. What I want is for the Grey Wardens to win. I want the blight to be over and things to go back to the way they were. Even if that includes interminable, stupid politics, it's better than starving to death or dying of the blight.
Well, if you wanted to get off that particular meal train, I know some people who would love to trade access for resources.
What do you mean?
So, I know where all the nobles keep their shit.
That is not a difficult thing to find out. They tend to be in very large manors. Hard to miss.
I also know people who are quite capable of getting those resources out into the hands of those what need them.
It is not really the purview of the bards. We are not thieves.
Okay, so you're fine staying on the teat of the nobility. I get that. That makes perfect sense. They've got money. You play for them, they give you money.
We more trade in information.
Well, I'm willing to offer what we have learned about the intricacies of local politics and affairs, and a contact with some of those thieves that you look down on.
Don't look down on thieves, I'm just not one. Don't have the skill set for it. Terrible at second story work.
Hey, you don't have to go to the second story if they let you in the front door.
But, so, this is the agreement then?
Right. Also, is there anybody you would like to be conscripted?
Oh, anybody is as I would like. I would not do that to you.
Okay, and if you're amenable, like, I would love to work with you. And honestly, I didn't realize I had an interest in this particular field until I was away from the city and didn't have access to anybody who knew how to play a bloody instrument.
I suppose if you want bardic training, we can discuss that after the blight is all put to rest.
Well, assuming I'm still alive at the other end of it.
I take it that you've heard the information about the siege of Navarra.
Do we? No. We don't, do we, Maker?
No.
That's new. Is it Tevinter or the Blight?
Oh, it is the blight, and the news is that the siege of Navarre is not a siege at all. For some reason, the Horde has bypassed the city completely.
Weird.
Indeed. This information is several days old, so I do not know where the Horde is now, but, knock on wood, they head more south than west.
Just doing a quick mental math of all that. What would be the expected arrival of the Horde to Orlais if they just bypass Navarre entirely?
Go ahead and give me a cunning roll.
Mm-hmm.
This would be difficulty 15. Anything you have, any specialization you have related to military or logistics, would apply.
I only have heraldry knowledge.
That would not apply.
Okay, then I got nothing. It's just going to be a raw roll. Type again. Ooh, 15 on the dot with 4 stun points.
Excellent. So would you like to use your stunt points for anything in specific?
Let me look. Apologies. It's always one of those. You don't think to look it up until you need it. So let's see. Role playing or exploration would probably apply. I guess so exploration is more perception based. This is probably more role play. Oh, F it, I'm gonna flirt. Why the hell not, right?
So this isn't necessarily role play. This is you figuring stuff out. So essentially, you know how long it would take a human army to get from Navarre to Orlais. You know that the Darkspawn Horde doesn't have many of the constraints. So, like when the human army shows up in a place, one of the first things they do is get the grunts to dig a bunch of latrines. Darkspawn don't give a shit, which is probably why the blight spreads so quickly.
I do have an idea. So instead of that resources at hand, I would like to take the focus of geography.
Okay.
To help me. Basically, I want to get that extra, like, okay, I know how armies work and I know what they're doing. What would be the most likely routes they would take, or why would they avoid the city of Navarre?
Yeah. So you don't know why they would bypass Navarre. The reason would be there's nothing in Navarre they want. Or there's something out here that they want more. What could that be? Who the fuck knows? That being said, you know how fast a human army of Horde size would move. You would know that the Horde is able to move faster. And so the thing is everyone is like, oh, maybe they'll go to Venter instead. Well, there's like a mountain range separating Navarra from Tevinter. So
There's nothing other than Orlais if they aren't going north.
right, and there's a lot of things blocking them north. So there would have to be something in Tevinter that they really, really want for them to be like, let's go mountain climbing. So
But I'm guessing Navarre would be west of where they would probably turn north if Tevinter was their primary target.
yes.
So I wasn't
essentially,
technically lying to her. Excellent.
Yes. you were
you
effective.
thought you were, which is why it was important.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I'm glad to know that if she goes and verifies later, I'll seem like I was totally like letting her in on some secret.
So yes, if the horde is headed towards Orlais, so there is a thin possibility that for whatever reason, once they get past Novar, they decide to go north to the Anderfels. It is not outside the realm of possibility that they would head there because that's where the Grey Warden headquarters is. But if they decide to head for Orlais instead of the Anderfels, they could be here in a matter of days.
And also tactically or strategically speaking, going north of the Anderfels would open them up to being cut off by an army from Orlais.
Not necessarily. They would be chased by the army, not cut off.
Either way, it would be a bad way for them to go because then they'd have to turn back round and come back the exact same way they came.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Horde is that there's really only one intelligent person guiding it, and it depends on what the Archdemon wants.
But clearly, if it can bypass entire cities, it's capable of ignoring tempting targets for
Yes.
strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the rest of the Horde is mindless, but they do what the Archdemon says.
Huh. When she tells Harold that he stops, he does this. This happens over the course of like you can see the gears turning. It's like, well, fuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with that, well, fuck, we're gonna go to break, and we're gonna come back with Jurgen. So we're gonna take a quick water break, and we will see everybody in about 10 minutes.
Have a good break, everybody. Hello,
All right.
everybody.
And we return. So, hello. We have gained a Steve, but lost a Devon. Sadness and woe. Um, all right. So, that means we might have to end a little bit early because I don't want to get too far ahead without Garrick here to catch up. He is the Warden Commander after all. But
Second in command,
uh,
I'm sure we will be fine.
I'm sorry.
As Harold as second in command, I'm sure can take over for.
Everything will be fine. Nothing to worry about here. All right. So, the first order of business, since we have regained a Steve, if people want to catch Jurgen up, we'll just say that Jurgen was in his workshop and emerges as Rayleth is moving from the mistress's chamber to the next spot on his list.
Also worth noting, apparently there are 3 malevolences now on the table.
I saw
Gosh.
one. What the hell do you mean 3?
Gosh.
Oh, Harold is asking for a third one. Oh,
I
nope.
don't-
Nope. Harold will not be asking for more malevolence. We're good. Thank you.
You know what?
Or-
Rayleth's scene is over, so Rayleth is happy to ask for some more malevolence, Big Dad.
I mean, I will bank them.
Oh, wait. In that case, I retract my request.
So, Rayleth, you encounter Jurgen. How do you catch him up for shenanigans?
Has your time at Orlais gone well?
Well is, I think, perhaps a bit optimistic. We've managed to make some progress on a few things. I managed to get at least a tentative agreement from Florentina Lambera to basically swear that she will give her child up to the king and queen of Orlais, sort of as like an adoptive child. With the expectation that that will form a bit more of a bond between the two families, and basically everybody who is mad about the situation with the queen will suddenly not be mad about it anymore, and hopefully that will create a more united front across the Orlesian nobility, as well as give them greater incentive to protect the Lambert estates. That's sort of like that's the carrot that's being offered to Florentina in this situation. So that's a big thing that's going on with that. Harold, Wynn, do you want to catch him up on your thing with the bards?
So, good news and bad news. Good news, the minstrels of Val Royaux are not stupid, and we have the local media willing to back our plays if it means that Orlais will actually fight the blight. We won't think about the implications of the media being in our pocket. We're just going to move forward. Bad news. Apparently, the Horde has bypassed Navarre and are either heading. There's a chance they might be heading up to the Anderfels to go after our headquarters. But I'm going to put my money on they're heading toward Orlais. If they're bypassing Navarre, they have some reason that they want to get here. It's also worth mentioning, and Maker, please correct me if this is a bad assumption, Orlais is still one of the great military powers of Thetis. As far as known, it is the strongest military on the continent.
Winter would have an edge, but other than that, I'm saying yes because nobody knows about the Canary yet.
Well, also, Tevinder has an edge, but also no allies.
Right.
So it would not go, it might not go, but long and short, Orlais is likely the biggest threat to the Horde. So if they can take it out if they can take this entire empire out before it can get itself together, well, Ortontide will not be the most horrific retreat that we see in this war.
That is bad news. But that is also good news.
But hey, we got the bards.
But that is also good news.
In the sense that if we can make sure to convince the emperor and the nobility that their necks are on the line now immediately, yeah, that might shake loose a few more soldiers.
Yes. However, if the horde is coming towards us, we no longer have to track them down. The archdemon, if they're with the horde, is coming towards us. This puts us at the advantageous position. Remember, only one Grey Warden is needed to kill the archdemon.
I will say it is. I would venture a guess that the archdemon is with the horde, because otherwise the horde would have just tried to eat Navarre from root to tip.
Yes, the archdemon is with the horde. I am to assume. Is that correct?
What was the question?
It's safe to assume the archdemon is with the horde.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Even more so because
This
it's
is-
acting in a way that shows.
It's acting in a way that's like tactically advantageous. Yeah.
So while you are not incorrect that it's good that our enemy is coming towards us because we need to eventually meet that enemy to fight them, this current circumstances may not be optimal for that particular engagement. So I think what we're going for here is optimizing the circumstances as much as possible.
Oh,
You recognize
yes,
that, right? Okay. Just want to make sure.
that has been our entire goal up to this point.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Just
We have a bit more time to get Orlais together, but also it
And it-
might help get some things shaken loose faster too.
And it seems as though you both have made great headway into gaining allies and positioning the city in a way that they would come together.
Oh yeah, it's been
So-
great. Yeah, everybody's been one big happy family.
Are they? Because aren't you trying to convince them to be one big happy family?
I'm trying to project into existence that which I desire.
The secret is real.
All right. Well, in that case, I think I don't know if that's where we want to, Rachel. If that's where we want to pause it, or if you want us to continue on.
So if I recall, Raylath, you had someone else you wanted to talk to?
I did want to go talk to actually even more so now that my first meeting went so well. I wanted to go talk to Fernand.
Yes, the Queen's brother.
Yes, and his wife if possible.
Also,
Okay.
I can come with you, or it might be smart for one of us to go talk to that claimant to the throne of Navarre.
Yeah, that might actually be a really good thing because he actually is well positioned to be even more. I hate to put it this way, to be even more useful to us because if the blight basically just went right past his estate and like his area and all of his troops, they might be able to kind of ride in where they're most needed if the battle goes a little bit south for us. So yeah, I know that I'm pretty sure that Garrick was gonna. Oh no, Garrick was gonna go talk to other people. So yeah, someone might want to go talk to him then.
Also, Maker, do we have a griffin available to us that isn't Raylath's?
Oh, wait,
No,
Okay.
why?
not unless you send for one.
Because in an ideal world, we might be able to get him to Navarre City to organize a force to pincer.
You can send for one, but you do not know how long that will take.
Well, I'm gonna go talk to. How about I go talk to him and see if he might have a way to get there. And if not, we can see about either summoning or Raylath. You might need to fly him, or one of us will figure it out.
So
Yeah,
you don't need to send him to Navarre.
Okay.
There's no reason for him to be in Navarre when the fight looks like it's coming to you in Orlais.
We can get a message there without sending somebody.
Right.
So he has people that he could actually be like, "Hey, we got to go fight. Come on out."
Yeah.
Okay. So either way, I'm gonna go talk. I'll go talk to him. Rayla, you seem to be the emperor's concubine whisperer.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, also not going to become a thing.
But you don't want to be the Orlesian baby maker. You don't want to be the concubine whisperer. I'm gonna keep workup shopping this, and you're gonna get well known for a title that you're willing to live with.
All right. Is there anything that Jurgen would like to get done? Okay, we can run that scene too.
Okay.
As a note, it might be worth talking to the Circle of Magi.
You want me to talk to the Circle of Magi?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're on good terms with him, right?
About what?
uh,
What it was once like
So-
to have magic?
Maker. Do we know that the head of the circle has been helping with the baby making?
You know everything that was posted in the Discord.
So we know that. Also, it might be useful just to get them on board with the idea that they need to fight. And I'm pretty sure you don't put off Templars now.
No, I don't. I don't upset Templars any longer.
Templar
So-
should love you at this point.
So maybe update them and see what they might be willing to offer with minimal persuasion to help make this work.
Very well.
It's always a good idea to have the people who can fling fireballs on your side.
All right. So, Raylath, you go to speak with the Dumas family. Let's say that you find them at lunch.
Fantastic. Are they, like, in the palace at lunch, or are they out and about at lunch?
We'll say that they're in the palace, because you can't really get good food if you go outside the palace now.
Can I do one tiny little retcon in between?
What would you like to do?
I'm going to ask a quick question. Heroine, do we think it's valuable for us to keep the information about Navarra secret or, like, confidential at the moment, or do we want to... I kind of feel like spreading that information is a good thing because it means people are going to recognize there's more of a possible threat.
For what it's worth, the information is relatively old. Came in a few days ago, and so either the Minstrel Network is keeping things quiet, or they're aware of this.
Well, I know that Florentina herself wasn't because she... Or at least she didn't give any indication that she was. So I'm considering sending her a message to be like, hey, basically what I said earlier, yeah, that's actually probably the case. Here's why. To get her a little bit more firmly on board with my proposal.
Well, if the Emperor and the leadership aren't aware of this, that's interesting information to begin with.
Yeah.
So I'd say feel free to share it, but pay very close attention to how they react.
Well, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to send a message because I got to go talk to these guys. You know what? I'll have what's her name? Pietra? Yeah, I'll have Pietra go and deliver the message on my behalf.
All right, and make sure she at least tries to pay attention
Yeah.
to reaction.
Yeah, I would like to know. I would very much like to know how Florentina reacts to being told this having this information confirmed.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Look at us using our resources.
Woo! Delegate. Sorry. Yeah, and then I'm gonna go talk to Fernando. God,
Fernand, yeah,
Fernand. Thank you. I'm horrible with names.
that's fine.
All
All right, so yeah, like I said, you find them at lunch, and you are announced as again the Grey Warden. So they invite you to sit with them. Well, good evening or good afternoon, Grey Warden. What brings you to our humble quarters?
Do I want to make an issue about like the whole dehumanization of just calling me the Grey Warden when there are like 12 of us in the city at this point in time? No, I'm not gonna let. It's not the priority. Um, hello, is he a duke? What's their official
not
title?
Yeah, he's not as high ranking as a duke. And in fact, so in Orlais, it got real bad for a long time, because the nobility would just give themselves the most grandiose, stupid sounding titles. And it got really difficult and unwieldy until one of the emperors, I forget what, just collapsed it down. You are a lord, or you are a lady, or you are not nobility at all.
Oh, I like that. That's nice and streamlined. Except himself, of course. He's still king slash emperor.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, Lord
Dumas.
Lord Dumas. Yeah. Lady Dumas, thank you very much for allowing me to join you. Raylath will, like, if it's possible, he'll get something small to eat because he hasn't eaten all day.
Yeah, you get some tea sandwiches.
Oh, tea sandwiches are delicious. I'm on board with that. Sorry. Ben has not had dinner, clearly. So, yeah, thank you very much for inviting me to sit at your table with you. Lord Dumas, I know that you have expressed fairly vocally your displeasure with the current.
Situation?
Yes,
Humiliation of my sister? Yes, I am quite displeased.
as I can, relate to for sure. You've spoken before about being willing to return her to her position. We'll say in non seditious terms.
Indeed.
Presumably, if you're going to uh, be vocal about something like that, you must have the resources to back it up.
In non-seditious terms, well, let us say that the blight disrupts many plans.
Meaning you do not have that sort of resources, or
Let us say that I've been holding them in abeyance for
of
this
course,
conversation.
of course.
So, I will not fight you. My only request is that all officers retain their commissions. They are good and brave men. Also, maybe don't put them right on the front lines.
Well, I don't believe that conscription will be necessary in this situation. We're currently working to maneuver.
So you say that, and he looks really surprised. Like he was expecting, you're like, hey, I'm taking your army.
Yeah, I realized that after the fact. We're
So we said you and not me.
yeah, exactly. We're working to maneuver the situation in such a way that your sister may well. There may be an announcement before midnight, ideally,
I see.
that would return your sister to her position under more favorable terms for everybody involved.
You have my attention.
Your attention is appreciated. Your soldiers are what I'm actually after, as you can imagine, to speak plainly. Without ripping them away from their families and preventing them from being able to come home afterwards. Like, conscription is not... It's a last resort, as you may
So
have
you
gathered.
are conscripting my soldiers without conscripting them?
No, I'm hoping to enlist your willing and enthusiastic support, both in material and personnel, after we arrange to have your sister's current situation, your sister's current situation remedied.
As you say.
Well,
What
perfect.
can I do for you?
So once this announcement comes out, I would like it if you would yourself make a formal announcement that you are putting your full the extent of your reach and resources to the purpose of protecting the Lambert vineyards in the upcoming battles.
That would be difficult as they are the ones responsible for the humiliation of my sister.
And
I will let us say instead that I send my armies somewhere necessary so that other soldiers may protect the Lambert lands.
I'm afraid that is not sufficient. As you say, the Lambert family does have a direct hand in the situation, the humiliation that your sister has suffered, and I can respect and I can empathize with that. However, in order to ensure this little gambit of ours pays off fully, it needs to be seen by everyone, yourselves, your men, and the Lamberts included, as something that is uniting the leadership, the nobles of Orlais, rather than simply displacing slightly petty disagreements. Not petty from your perspective, but from the outside observer's perspective. Especially in relation to things like global, catastrophe.
And I suppose the alternative, if I don't, is you actually do conscript my army.
That decision ultimately isn't up to me, it's up to the warden commander, but no. I would not push for conscription. Even if you were to tell me to go to hell and leave right now and refuse to go along with this, that wouldn't be my solution, because your men don't deserve to be punished for a decision that you make.
This is a blight. My men will fight no matter what.
I know they will, and I respect that. I respect everyone who takes up arms in this matter. The problem is, again, if people see that the leadership of Orlais is going to continue to harbor their rivalries, their schisms, through this very, very important, very momentous situation, the men and women, the citizens of Orlais, are not going to look at you as the noble leaders who led them through this. Maybe they will if things go stellarly in your favor, but otherwise they're going to look at you as noble families who continued their petty squabbles despite the fact that countless men and women were being slaughtered by Darkspawn. Whereas if you put this under the table, water under the bridge, and you announce publicly that you are burying this hatchet, it looks better for everyone.
So go ahead and give me a communication roll to try and win this guy over.
Seduction?
If you want, if that's the attack you're taking. I mean, you
Based on a
are
Bioware game.
you are kind of seducing him by like,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody will think you're a hero. Isn't that great?
How about, I'll tell you what, I'll split the difference. How about I add +1 from this section rather than the full +2?
You know what? Take the full 2, because
Okay.
that was some very good roleplay, and I want to reward that.
Please let the dice reward this.
Also, he's now
Yes.
he's a romanceable NPC.
Yes. I mean, they're Orlesian.
All right.
They're all romanceable NPCs.
So it's sort of that you tap into his ego and convince him like, hey, but they'll remember you real nicely as a hero. And he's clearly thinking of the statues of heroes from history who line the boulevards of El Royo. It's like, very well. But if my sister, when all of this is over, and the blight is over, and my sister remains in that country, you and I will have some very personal words, sir. I do not care if you're a Grey Warden.
I will gladly meet you on the most prominent avenue of the capital to settle any grievances you may have with me.
Then we are at an accord.
Wonderful. Lady Dema, and I'm going to stand up and give a quick bow. I will stack up several of the tea sandwich and a napkin, and I will take them with me.
Okay. All right. And so, Jurgen, you were going to the circle, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
Okay. And then, was Harold Wynn going somewhere else?
I think the plan was Harold was going to talk to, and let me make sure I've got the name right. I think it was Tylus.
Tylus. Okay. Right. The Von Marken dude.
Yes.
All right. So, Jurgen,
Yes.
you arrive at the tower, and you can tell as people walk past you, they're like, mage on the loose. Oh, wait, Grey Warden armor, never mind.
Also, this on my forehead.
It seems like the Grey Warden armor is what's putting them more at ease than your brand.
Oh, well, at ease, yes. Okay, fair
Yes.
enough. Okay.
And so you are here to meet with the first enchanter?
Yes, please. That is.
Lucrece Alexis. Yes.
Lucrece
All right.
Alexis.
She is busy doing something magey. But as soon as you show up and make it known you want to speak with her, they summon her. And so give me perception, please. Anything having to do with body language would apply.
Oh boy, here we go. 11, but I have 5 stunt points.
Okay. So, you notice as she walks in that she has a tremendous sense of poise. And walks with very, very good posture. So, take that information for what you will. That's what you get for an 11. Well, no, you've got stunt points. So with the stunt points, I will give you a little more information. Essentially, the way she carries herself, the way she speaks to you, her accent, are all indicative of a noble upbringing.
Noble upbringing, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Which doesn't matter because she's a mage, but
sure.
Yeah. So you are met in a receiving room. Always good to see Grey Warden making a good name for the mages in fighting the blight. What can I do for you?
First Enchanter Alexis, I'm here for you to become our allies in the upcoming blight.
Well, I see. And so she realizes when you say that you are tranquil, and like her tack immediately shifts. Well, we are all responsible to the Grey Wardens. I suppose they sent you here because they want this to be as direct a conversation as possible?
That would be a correct assumption. The blight is
Mhm.
coming, most likely here to Orleans soon. Steps have been taken to correct the political dysfunction of this area, and we need you to throw your support behind us as well, so that when the blight arrives, your magic will protect us as the Grey Horns defeat the Archdemon. That is all.
How much time do we have to prepare?
My understanding is days.
She was not expecting that answer. Days.
Is
you
that
say.
out of character? Is that correct? That was what I took.
That is as far as you understand it.
That
Okay.
is the minimum. That is the least time. Yes, and it is
Yes.
possible they would arrive within days.
Yes. So so I'll say days, and I'll see here how I've heard surprise. They have bypassed Navarra, heading west. It is most likely in order to attack Orlais. The use of tactics indicates the presence of the Archdemon.
Very well. That is lucky for Navarra, unlucky for us. And she's just sort of like saying this out loud to try and process the information.
People continue to say that this is unlucky for us. It brings our enemy to us. I do not believe this is unlucky.
From your perspective, Grey Warden, I suppose it is quite fortunate. Will the mages be reporting to you or to someone else?
I have no need for a leadership position. I am merely here to tell you that you're to be prepared and ready to fight and die.
I shall see right to it. I suppose I must start making preparations. Simply let us know who will be commanding the mages on the field of battle. Unless we are free to do as we see fit. I don't want to interfere with any of your strategy or tactics, however.
I'll consult with the Warden Commander and get back to you as soon as possible.
Thank you. I assume you can see yourself out?
Yes, I was able to find myself in. I will find myself out. And I'll step forward just a little bit. And I have learned that people need comfort in general. I don't get it. So just kind of put my hand on their shoulder. Do not worry. Only some will die, but we will win.
You utterly fail to comfort her. Only some will die. Joy. So you see her, she just rushes out of the room. She's not quite running, but she's like doing the oh shit walk.
Jurgen feels he is super succeeded in this conversation.
It's I don't want people to think I'm panicking, but I'm panicking, run.
Essentially, yes.
Honestly, there is no good situation for the Circle of Mages. Either they're under the authority of a Tranquil, an Apostate, or Herald.
Speaking of Herald...
She was doing the walk you do after you get done with a really long road trip, and you're like, I have to be.
I got to go.
Right. So,
Anybody
Harold,
yes.
Remind me who you were talking to.
I am talking to Mr. Markham. I don't think he'd like to be called Mr. Tylus Van Markham.
Yeah, you can call him Sarah.
Sarah? Okay.
Yeah. So you find him where Garrick is. It is the parade grounds, the tournament grounds, where all the young, brilliant knights are practicing to show their best during the upcoming tourney. And we're gonna skip forward a little bit and say that Garrick and Tylus have collected a squad of, let's say, about 10 knights. Clearly age 18 to 24. So they're fit, they're energetic, and they have something to prove.
I will be collecting their names just for
Okay.
the sake of to communicate with the Minstrel Network.
Okay. So, uh, yeah, and they all seem eager. A few are willing to take the joining. The ones who are slightly less willing are like, what if we fight for Von Markham and let's do that instead. Um, and so, just as you begin your conversation with Tyler Von Markham, you hear a sound in the distance. It is the ringing of the chantry bells at the far end of the city. But then as you continue listening, the ringing spreads, and it is clearly the oh shit, alarm, alarm, alarm. And as you concentrate on the sound of the bells, your Grey Warden sense pings. Oh, there's a fuck ton of Darkspawn over there. Like a fuck ton.
Sir Van Markham, I think we might need to get organized now.
So, what you know is they are still some distance away. Essentially, some scouts ran hell for leather. Are like, Darkspawn in the valley over there. The reason it's pinging is because there's so goddamn many of them. You have about 12 hours to plan.
Jesus.
And so we're going to put a pin in that.
This is what happens when we are trying to wrap up an arc.
Yes. So we're going to put a pin in that. So what I'm sort of expecting is next week we're going to be half planning and logistics, half starting the fight, and then one more week where we finish the fight. Hooray! So, we will see everybody in a week for the beginning of the end. So thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching. I can't wait to see what happens next.
It'll be great!
Everybody's gonna die!
And all the games you played are not gonna work! Yay!
We leveled up, right? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, take a level.
Oh, yes, I was kidding. I didn't expect that to work. Man, my rolls have been on fire tonight. I've been getting all kinds of successes.
Yeah, no, did Steve freeze, or is he just really good at holding still?
I think Steve froze.
Oh, no.
That is a fantastic... Oh.
Oh, damn it.
That was very well done.
Screen cap. That was a great pose.
That was very well done. I was going to say, that's like the perfect place to have frozen.
All right, leveling up.
But yes, I like people to level before the big fight, because then you get to choose, like...
Cool stuff.
Yeah, specifically like, oh yeah, this will help in combat.
We do go up in our specializations.
I'm going to have to look at the rules for leveling, because I'm not familiar enough with this system.
They should also be pinned in the Discord. I mean, there's a lot of pins, though.
And I will have communication 7.
What level are we?
8.
8.
Yeah, so you get 1 advancement point to spend on an ability. You get 1d6 plus your constitution in health points. You gain a focus, depending on your level, I think, because it's even its primary focuses.
I believe that's correct.
Or primary abilities. And then you get a new talent, so you can increase a talent you have from novice to journeyman or journeyman to expert, or you can take an entirely new talent, and then each class should have its own level 8 ability.
So specifically, it is the new specialization that you took at level 6 that goes up, or you can take a talent of any kind. So this is one of those few times where you're actually allowed to bump up a specialization class. If you didn't take it at level 6, then you just take a talent.
Ooh, I think armor training
What?
is the way I'm gonna go. Because I can do that now. It's gonna take me a few minutes to do this, so I probably won't do it while we're on stream. Unless you want me to do it while we're on stream, in which case I
Nah,
can't.
go ahead and level up off camera.
Okay.
Because like I want the pacing to be like go 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 go, for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
New ability focus.
Or do I want the next level of spirit?
Yeah, you actually have a lot more interesting options than the rest of us. Because you get magic.
Oh, and I get a new spirit spell, so if I go that route, I get 2 new spells. I think that's the way I'm going to go. Armor training is cool, but not cool enough to be worthwhile just yet.
I mean, better than what some of us got.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I can already wear some armor with the reinforced duster, and I ignore most of the penalties with that anyways because of my specialization. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the spirit magic mastery. I think that'll be pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, this will be fun. I get new spells. Who doesn't like new spells?
I will, yeah. My one claim to fame right now is I have Communication 7.
I mean, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Advancements.
I have another song I can sing now. So not just +1 to combat. I think I can give you guys resistances and things on social. Harold's a
1d6
good
plus
musician.
Constitution. Oops.
Oh, I think I know what I'm going to take.
Oh,
Communication Persuasion.
Isn't it 2 points needed to up something from 6 to 7?
It is, which is why I did not
Yes.
spend one last level.
Yeah. Okay.
so I just got the max hit points I possibly could, putting me at 60 is my new total. So that's nice.
You have more health than I do.
Yay! And then I get to do this. I get to do the same for mana, I believe. I'll have to look that up.
You have 6 more health than I do.
We can pick one new ability focus. New focus. New focus.
Advancement to okay. One advancement to spend one ability. Even numbered must spend it on a primary ability. That's right. I said I was going to do this offline, and now here we are. I'm doing it now.
I mean, you're not doing it on camera, which is fine.
No. Well, I mean,
We're still streaming, right?
yeah, we're
Yeah.
still live. But we didn't do the sign off, so I wasn't sure if we were continuing or
Oh,
not.
Jesus. Okay, this is great.
Yeah,
yes,
I
Hi,
was-
everybody. We're leveling up.
Titillating content for your viewing pleasure. We
Yes,
are moving numbers around on a spreadsheet.
All right, final sign off. Everybody, just say who you are when we can see your face again, and then we're gonna leave in shame.
I thought that was all intentional. I apologize.
We're fine. We're fine. Maker, you're the one who might feel shame, but we're fine.
Yeah, I'm
I
good.
share my shame with you.
Big Dad says, yeah, it was weird. Shame. Also redeemed a drink.
Oh, I think technically, holy shit, I'm first. Oh shit, that's probably all my fault, actually. I'll take all the blame. Hello, everybody. My name is Stephen Professor Ham. Tonight I played Jurgen, and I messed up the ending because I didn't start the outro. So that one's for you, Big Dad.
Hi, everybody. I have been Heroin, the least disruptive disruptor that he has ever been. You can find me on the X at the Rabba One, and nowhere else because I don't want to deal with people.
Hi, everybody. Ben Ravensdale. I've been playing Raylath. You can find me on various social media platforms. If you Google Ravensdale Publishing, you'll find me. Um, I am doing a couple things at the moment, the most prominent or imminent of which is on Saturdays. There is a YouTube series that releases a new episode for a superhero RPG that I am GMing called Vigilantes Union Local 13. You can find that on All on the Table is the name of the channel on YouTube, or the Transverse, either one of those, you should be able to find it. But yeah, thanks very much for joining us tonight.
All right, as for me, I'm Rachel, she, her, Stolen Fires, pretty much everywhere. When the burning bird app finally collapses into ash, whatever takes over, I will be Stolen Fires there, whatever that platform happens to be. Yeah, come back here Wednesday if you like Dragon Age, where I stream Inquisition. And then tonight we're gonna have Fringeworthy, a really great multiverse exploration game. It's a lot of fun. And then Thursday, come back here for public access, nostalgia, and freaky mysteries. And then Friday is Electric Memory, our Blade Runner campaign. They finally solved the mystery. Genesis is dead. But what happens next? Come find out at 6 o'clock Pacific on Fridays. All right, now we're leaving. Cut the feed, Ben. Cut the
Bye,
feed.
everybody.
No, keep it going forever.